I begin in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful.
I didn't know this.
So you write it yourself, all by yourself. No,
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, but I was a sports editor in college.
you were a sports editor.
I started as a sports writer.
Wow.
I was a writer first, and I took some journalism classes and stuff, and they taught me how to write. And then when I was a writer for the newspaper, they taught me how to be editor when I was writing. So next year I became editor of the paper, the college newspaper.
You became editor.
I was editor. I was the editor.
Ronnie,
So
This is epic, bro.
this is very cool.
I edited everybody else's story, And the year before, I was writing stories for the paper.
Okay.
I was the writer.
So, Ronnie, this book, tell us when you decided to write it and what was your daily routine? How much time did you put into it every day, and what was the process behind it? I'm curious.
I've been working on it for a year now, so
Yeah.
I just write a little bit every day. I was writing a little bit every day.
What do you just set a time limit and say, right, I'm going to write for an hour every day, or do you just do bits here and there, or?
I was trying to do like 2 or 3 hours a day.
Oh, really?
2-3 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
What timing of the day do you usually write?
Late at night when I'm at IHOP, I'll work on it.
So you just take your laptop to IHOP and you just sat there typing away at night.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow, that's amazing! That's so cool. I think we just sort of assumed it was like a ghost written thing. Or?
Will you ever write a book that's not about you, like a screenplay for a movie or something like this?
Love story,
or
horror film?
No. That's a little bit too hard for me. I'm gonna stick with what I know.
Ronnie, are you happy with this book? Are you really happy with how it's turned out? What was the process like getting it all out on? Well, I'm not saying paper, but onto the screen. Was it an enjoyable process, recalling and remembering all that and writing about it?
Yeah. Because like I said, when I was working for the newspaper, I used to love it all the time, writing and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I was editor, so I was editing everybody else's story and putting the paper together and doing all the work myself. Yeah. So it just, brought me back to the good old days when I used to write, back in the day. And then when I became editor, brought me back to the days of, editing.
So what I'm getting at, is it a process you've really enjoyed to do? Because it's such a huge thing to write your own story. And I suppose the thing is nobody else can mess it up then, can they?
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been pretty good at writing, just like accounting. That's why I was so good at accounting, because it was mostly just reading and writing out the formulas to like mathematics, mathematical problems. It was like being a writer also.
Yeah, this is something we didn't know.
We didn't know.
Ronnie, Ronnie, I'm a huge Ronnie fan, but even I didn't know this.
Editor, policeman, world's strongest bodybuilder, most epic bodybuilder, turned pro naturally.
I don't believe it.
8 Mr. Olympia wins.
I don't believe it. Sorry.
Owner of the fastest rising supplement brand in the world.
Yeah.
Wow, huh?
Yeah.
That was another thing. Another thing, when I was working with the police department, I got into a fight one day.
Oh.
And because I was such a good writer, a guy decided he was going to sue me. But the story that I wrote, he changed his mind.
Oh, really? Oh, the report.
And the lieutenant wrote me a letter of commendation for my report. And he said, can we use your report to train the recruits with?
Oh, wow.
So they used my report writing skills to train the recruits.
Yeah. Wow.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's a true story.
It's a true story. Yeah, it's not fabricated.
This happened at Denny's on one of my part-time jobs.
Yeah.
I was working one night. Drunk guy came in. He started getting loud. And I was like, hey, you need to calm down. You're in a public place. You can't search. You can't say certain things like that, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, he didn't see me. He had his back to me. So he said something, and I was like, okay, I'll let that slide.
Yeah.
So I was saying, but you're gonna have to calm down. You're gonna have to be quiet. And he said something again. I'm like, okay, that was your one chance to, get away with it. So I grabbed and threw him down, and the fight was on.
What happened? What happened?
And needless to say, he lost.
Fantastic.
He ended up going to the hospital.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then his sister jumped in it.
Yeah.
And she lost.
Ronnie, do you know what I'm thinking? I think you need to write the screenplay for your own film, for your own actual. We need a Ronnie movie. We don't just need a Ronnie documentary. We need a Ronnie movie based on your life on the screen. Right? Just give him the book as a screenplay. I think this would be amazing. This book, Ronnie, are these kind of stories in there? These funny stories and these stories? Because some of these stories, Ronnie, we've never heard of.
How many pages is the book? And does the book have pictures in it, or is it purely words?
It's got a lot of pictures.
Good. That's
a whole lot of. But right now, the book without pictures is 200 pages.
Oh, wow. Without the pictures, it's 200 pages.
Yeah, without pictures, 200 pages.
One thing I'm interested in, Ronnie, with people like yourself and kind of the best people in the world at what they do. I mean, you're not just like. You're not just a bodybuilder. You're a successful family person. You're a businessman. You've been an accountant. You've done like AJ alluded to. You've done so many different things. It's like I'm really interested in kind of the mindset of someone. Like I've spent time around you, Ronnie. I worked for you from 2014, 2016. Fantastic experience, and I really enjoyed just being around you and kind of getting the vibe and learning about your mindset and how you think and how you respond to things. Like I think that's something I think that people I think that's why people really liked your documentary, because we got to know more Ronnie the person, not just Ronnie the bodybuilder.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've done quite a bit of stuff along the way. There's another story that I haven't told too, but I might need to tell.
Yeah, please do.
When I came to Texas, I was looking for a job. I told you about me looking for a job in accounting.
Yeah.
Well, while I was looking for a job in accounting, I ended up buying a car. And because I thought I was going to get a job right away. Well, that didn't happen. So I took the first thing that came along. And the first thing that came along was Domino's Pizza.
I'm not a junk. Yeah.
So I worked at Domino's for a long time, about 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not making all the deals. I'm so poor I can't afford food, so I eat pizza every single day. That was dinner.
Yeah. How many times did you eat pizza?
I went to work. I got like lunch and dinner. I was pizza. Then I got tired of eating pizza, so I called Burger King up and asked them if they were tired of eating hamburgers. They're like, yeah, I want to trade.
Hustling pizzas for burgers.
Yeah. Trade off.
Want some pizza. So I traded with them for a while. Wow. Then I got tired of eating Burger King. Well, Kentucky Fried Chicken was right next door to them.
Oh, John's loves KFC, by the way.
I'm not a fan of KFC. I like Nando's.
Yeah, so I traded with them. Well, to make a long story short, I'm still struggling. So I'm looking for extra work now. First job I find is a guy at Domino's saying, hey, man, I got a newspaper out. I need some help. Like, I'll take it. So here I am with a college degree, graduated with honors. I graduated top of class, I graduated cum laude, which is, 3.7 and above on a 4.0 scale.
Wow.
Yeah. So I made all A's and B's. I made Dean's List, President's List, on roll every semester.
How much did you study? How much did you
every single day.
Wow.
And sometimes all day.
Really?
I was start after football practice, and I look up and the sun was coming up. I'm like, God damn, I get a chance to sleep. And I had to go to class. I would start studying right after practice until the next morning, like 5, 6 hours at a time.
Were your mom and dad, were they highly educated too, or?
No. My mom never graduated high school, and dad didn't either.
Okay.
So I was the first one to go to college. So
You were the first one.
yeah, I was real determined to graduate because of that, and that's why I studied so hard. Because I wanted to graduate and be the first in the family.
AJ,
I studied every single day. Never a day went by where I didn't study.
so nothing was ever really handed to you. You've had to work really hard every day of your life.
Oh yeah. I put in some hours.
Right.
I never partied in college. That's another thing. I didn't have girlfriends or nothing like that.
Really?
Accounting was extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of time to study. And I had to study every single day.
Did it come naturally to you, or did you have to study?
There was never a day I didn't study in college. And I never partied.
No party, that's why I got no party, no nothing.
No girlfriend.
You had 22-inch arms and you had no girls.
Hey, I didn't have any girls.
That's more like it. That's what we're getting to the nitty gritty now.
Yeah.
Come on.
When he's got 8 kids, something is working. So
I had 2 girls while I was in college.
So obviously one after the other, or separate?
before we end it, me and Giles gonna train back tomorrow because we're feeling motivated now. Which pre-workout should we take?
Yeah, buddy.
That's the best one.
That's not his answer. That's actually the name of the
Yeah,
product.
I know.
No, I'm joking, AJ. Come on, mate.
Yeah, Ronnie, Giles has a very special type of humor. It's not easy for people to understand, you know.
Yeah, it's called British humor. It falls on deaf ears on most people. So yeah, buddy, the strawberry lemonade. Your life changed when you became Mr. Olympia.
Oh, well, I got a lot more popular
Funny that.
and made a lot more money. Yeah, trained tremendously.
Yeah. In what ways? Not just the money and popularity, but how did your own perception and your own kind of attitude to your bodybuilding change? Did you really feel like, whoa, I'm Mr. Olympia now and I've really got to step things up? Or how did your life improve and change?
Yeah, I was like that. Yeah, I was like, I'm Mr. Olympia. I got to step things up. I got to train harder than I did the year before.
Harder?
Yeah.
So did you find you had to do, it was tough? Because, I mean, the thing is, when you become Mr. Olympia, I remember it happened to Jay Cutler, and you become so in demand, it's tough to almost balance the because people want to see you, so you have to travel. How did you find that, having to train, having to be a bodybuilder and travel? Did you find that easy at the start, or was it difficult?
No, it was pretty easy for me. I've always been good at traveling because, I worked for the police department.
Yeah.
I knew how to schedule days off and stuff like that. And I knew how to work around that. So I was always off on the weekends anyway, so I didn't have to take a lot of time off to do events and stuff like that. So traveling stuff was easy for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Even though I was busy a lot and I was gone a lot, I've always been real good at organizing travel. So I just be gone for like 2 days, 3 days, and back home. Yeah.
Actually, this has triggered a memory of something I'd like to talk about. That 1997 Grand Prix tour, because that was when you kind of started at the back of the pack, and then by the end of it, it led up to the Russian Grand Prix. Do you want to tell us about that tour? Because I remember hearing about how all the other guys were kind of slipping off their diets, and you kind of just stayed on top of your diet. You made sure you got all your food. Do you want to tell us about that and why you just really wanted to move forward?
To be honest with you, it was real hard to diet on that tour.
Oh, really?
real hard. That was the hardest thing I've done in my life. The last 3-4 days on there, I didn't sleep a wink.
What?
How come?
Nothing.
My body was too exhausted to sleep.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't. I would lay down, and because you had to be up in 2-3 hours to catch a plane to go to the next city.
Yeah.
It was 7 shows in 11 days.
Thing is, Ronnie, I don't understand.
11 days and 7 shows.
I don't understand is how you got better though. You got better as the tour went on. Explain.
Oh, no. I was doing bad on that tour.
No, you went from 6th to 1st.
Yeah, right. But
I know Ronnie better than Ronnie. I'm a Ronnie nerd. What can I say?
I was doing 5th and 6th and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I saw you at the British Grand Prix. And I saw you backstage, Ronnie, at the 1997 British Grand Prix, and you were kind. I remember doing the report for the Muscle Mag at the time, and you looked incredible. But you were like 5th, 6th in that show, and then all the other guys were starting to drop off. And I think, did you really think? Right, I really want to win one now.
What year was that?
1997. 97.
Oh. Well, yeah, I was trying to stick to the diet. It was hard. But like I said, we would do a show and you would have time to get a meal.
Yeah.
And, meal wasn't too much of nothing. Just some chicken and some rice. Yeah. And then you sleep for 2 hours and you get on the plane. He was doing it like every day.
So tell us about that Russian Grand Prix, the 1997. Tell us about that.
And then, I'm placing like not good at all. I'm getting 5th, 6th every show, and I'm getting tired of it. And Kevin is winning every show, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's he doing this thing so real? Because I tried everything. It wasn't nothing working. I tried all kind of diuretics, everything. Nothing working. And I like, Kevin is doing something different. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to go find out. So I went to this room like the night we in Russia. So the night before Russia. Like I said, I wasn't sleeping the last 3-4 nights anyway. Zero sleep. I would lay down, close my eyes, and just try my best to sleep. But my body was so exhausted, it wouldn't fall asleep. I couldn't fall asleep. So I just stayed awake for the last 2 days.
That's not good for your condition, is it?
I was wide awake. And I'm like, well, I can't sleep, so I might as well go talk to him. Find out what he's doing. It was like 1, 2 in the morning. I'm knocking on his door. Hey, man, what you doing? Yeah. How you staying so hard? And how you winning all these shows? He's like, you want to know what I'm doing? I'm like, yeah. So he goes to the refrigerator, pulls out a bottle of vodka, I think that was my first time ever drinking vodka.
Really?
This is the first time you ever tried vodka.
Hey, Ronnie didn't party. He didn't do anything. Too busy studying and training.
And then he goes over to the coffee maker, and he pours a cup of coffee, like a half cup.
Okay.
And he put it was one of those small bottles, I guess they mixed drinks or something with it.
Yeah.
He poured the whole bottle in that coffee.
What?
He said, if you want to know what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. I'm like, you drinking coffee and vodka? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. At this point, I'll try anything.
Yeah.
And I drank that coffee and that vodka, and went back to my room, and I finally was able to start going to the bathroom, getting rid of some water. I'm like, oh, this is looking pretty good, not too bad. So my diuretics ain't doing nothing that I'm taking. And by the time the show came around, I dropped quite a bit of water. Now I was able to get, in a whole lot better shape than I was leading up to that point. But what I was doing to get rid of water wasn't working.
Yeah. Do you think your body you've done it a couple of times on the show, like, in a row, and if your body was just saying, no, not doing it. The thing is, surely the caffeine, did you sleep that night, even with did you manage to get
I didn't sleep.
No.
still.
I didn't see the wink.
So I suppose you're going to be awake anyway, so you may as well be awake and get rid of the water.
Exactly. I laid down and I tried my best to go to sleep, but I couldn't sleep.
Oh no.
So I just stayed awake and just went to the bathroom all night.
Singing sailor songs on vodka. And, So did you ever? Thing is, Ronnie. I mean, I've heard that story. I heard that story at the Masters Olympia in 2012 in Miami, and I always wondered, did you ever try that again, or was it just a one-off you did?
I never tried it again.
But why?
Because I had Chad.
Yeah. Do you know? I remember.
He gave me a drink.
You still don't know to this day what it was.
Nope, you don't know.
No. Now I remember.
It was always a drink, just like what Kevin had.
Hang on a minute. Our producer's just stolen one of your bars, Ronnie. I'm just gonna.
Which flavor is it?
He's stolen one of the bars. I'm gonna have to invoice him. I'm afraid.
Red velvet. Oh, that's the one I tried.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay. So please. Yeah. So I remember we spoke once, and you were telling me about working with Chad Nichols, and you said, I've seen like Flex Lewis the night before a show, and he's having so much food shoveled into him, and you said like when Chad would like get you ready, like he would literally make you eat so much food to fill out all the mass you had. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was so much food. I mean, the first couple of days was okay because I was starving, and I hadn't had no carbs. So and then Chad is shoving all these carbs. I'm eating apple pie filling. Oh man, it's like mixed with oatmeal. And I'm having bananas and orange juice and all kind of carbs.
Really, all sugary carbs and everything. And
I'm doing that like 3-4 times a day.
how many grams of carbs, and what day would you start? Like say Tuesday, was it like 1,000 grams or?
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, decarb. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, carb up. So it was 3 days. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
So how many grams of carbs? Do you remember, or was it just eat that?
It was about 1,000.
By the thousands.
About 1,000 or more.
Whoa. I mean,
And just in one apple pie, the can was big.
yeah.
It wasn't a can. Just in one can was like 400.
Whoa. So at what point did Chad say, right, you're full enough now, let's just dry you out and get you on stage?
The Friday, the night before the show.
The Friday, yeah. So he always timed it perfectly.
Yeah. It was always Friday night before the show. I'd have my last carb meal, before the night before the show.
One,
And it was the hardest thing you're going to ever do on that third day, trying to eat all that food.
Really?
And sometimes I got sick.
Well, literally you just couldn't shove any more food down. Yeah.
Couldn't eat no more.
Yeah.
I mean, so full I couldn't eat.
And you're a big eater.
And I'm a big eater. The first 2 days are the best days of your life, though.
Carb up. Finally, all those carbs. Beautiful.
Forever eating all that food, it's like your body's craving food.
Yeah.
It's like you've been starving for like 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And now you finally get a chance to eat after starving for 12 weeks. So, you like on cloud 9, 10. It's the best thing in your life right now.
Day 3 and 4, not so much.
Eating all this food. It was 3 days doing it. That third day was always the hardest.
Yeah.
Because you've eaten so much. By now, you done got tired of eating. And you don't want to eat.
Yeah.
But you got to eat to fill out. So you kind of like stuffing food in you and you force feeding yourself that third day.
So after the Olympia, straight after the Olympia, you walk off with your sando. What's the first thing you would always want to eat?
I don't even think I slept.
Oh, really? You just slept?
I just stayed up.
Oh, you stayed up. But no, what was the first thing you wanted to eat?
Oh, pizza.
Oh, pizza. Okay. More Domino's. Back to Domino's again. Yeah.
I didn't like Domino's.
No?
I didn't like Domino's. After
you're tired of Domino's.
Tired of Domino's.
I can't take it no more.
There's
There's always some other brand.
Yeah. Well, like an Italian style or flat style or?
Anything besides dominoes.
One of the what can I say? One of the weirdest bodybuilding contests of all time, the most shocking bodybuilding contest of all time, was Ronnie Coleman versus Gunther Schlierkamp in 2002.
The Olympia.
Yeah.
No, 2002.
The Olympia.
No, it's not on Olympia. It was in.
That was Show of Strength. That was after the Olympia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened that day?
You tell me.
Was
I
that?
have no idea.
You have no idea.
None whatsoever.
You feel that it was. What do you feel about the contest? You think he should have won? What, did it make you nervous after he won? Did it get you more angry to train harder for 2003 Olympia, or how did you take that?
It got me a lot more angry
You did.
to train. That's when I started, doing that 2,800-pound leg press and that 800-pound squat and all that.
Because of that loss, you took your training to a next level.
Yeah, that's the heaviest I've ever trained in my life.
So, in a way, it kind of fueled your... I mean, I went to the 2001 and the 2002 Olympia running. And I remember the 2003, there was like certain names dropping out of it. And I didn't actually go that year. And that is the one year I wish I could go back in time. And I wish I could have gone to that Olympia, because to like the idea of like seeing you walk out at, was it 283? I think you were
85, 86.
285, 286. I mean, you were impressive 2002, 2001, 2002. You're amazing to see in the flesh. I'd seen you on the Grand Prix tours. I'd seen you half a dozen times. But if there's one Olympia I wish I had gone to, it was the 2003 Olympia, Ronnie, because like after that loss at the Show of Strength, even though you won the Olympia that year, I mean, it obviously fueled a year of absolutely insane training. Tell us about that.
Yeah.
Ronnie.
Yeah, that was the only year that I didn't take 3 months off.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Really?
After every Olympia I won, I took 3 months off and didn't train or nothing.
Yeah.
Didn't diet, nothing. 2003 Olympia, after I lost that Show of Strength, I went right back to training.
Well, literally the next, as soon as you got back to Texas.
Did Gunther ever say anything to you after he won? Did he try
No.
to... No, okay.
No, not a word.
Okay.
I never said anything. I like I said, I don't know what happened or whatever. I don't even think I saw any pictures of it. I didn't see any pictures either.
Okay.
I didn't want to look at it.
That was hang on, that was the year that because I remember seeing the Battle for the Olympia, and you were like, what you must have been maybe 260, 270. And I know Chad, what that year wanted to bring you in a little bit smaller, like you were lighter, like you were at the 2001 Arnold Classic. And like personally, I preferred how you looked in the run up to the Olympia, like that Battle for the Olympia. What was that? 2-3 weeks out? I mean, that's the best version of Ronnie I always like to see.
Yeah, I was almost 280.
Yeah, that is to me. That's how I want to see you. That's how I wanted to see. Because after that Olympia, what did you come down to? About 250 in the Show of Strength. I mean, what were you? 245, 250? Yeah, 245.
Yeah, 45. I mean, that was lighter than I was the year before.
But that's 30 to 35 pounds off what you could have been on stage.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was like 260 something years before.
Yeah, so you obviously thought, right, to hell with this. I'm not going to come in at 245 again. I'm not going to. Is that what
this will never, ever happen.
Yeah.
What was your feeling after prejudging in 2003? What were you feeling? Because people were shocked to see
I think superhuman.
Yeah, what were you feeling? Because nobody's seen this package ever before on the bodybuilding stage.
Insane.
Yeah. I had no idea how I looked until I saw pictures when I went to Australia.
No.
So how did that make you feel?
So I'm thinking I just look like a normal guy.
No! Come on! Come on, Ronnie. Really? Yeah, but surely your body weight, it must have thought, hang on a minute, I'm like 40 pounds up on last year.
Yeah, I knew I was a little bit heavier, but I'm thinking, my conditioning probably ain't going to be as good as it could have been last year, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway.
But everything was so full. The detail was. You were I saw you in 2002. I remember when you came to the front of the stage, and you were absolutely shredded. Your hamstrings, your glutes, your lats. But when you're like 40 pounds heavier, everything's pushing against the skin. Everything's volumized. I mean, your condition, honestly, Ronnie. That rear relaxed shot. It's one of those shots. It doesn't even look human.
And the other guy, what was the other guy's reaction when they saw you took off the clothes in the pump up in backstage in 2003? What was the reaction you got?
I wasn't really paying no more attention. I was so in the zone.
Yeah. Who did we interview?
I remember they were trying to take it from me this year.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it ain't gonna happen.
AJ, we actually interviewed someone a few weeks ago on one of our other shows, and they said that they saw Ronnie backstage that year. Who was it? From 2003. It was one of the competitors. It was someone that said they saw you backstage in 2003, and then I think they realized, who was it? They said, that's it, it's game over. And no, it wasn't. No, Vince Taylor wasn't that year. He was retired. Well, he was semi-retired. It was someone. Yeah, I forget. It'll come to us, Ronnie. But he said he saw you.
Jay had told me something like that.
It was Jay.
It was Jay.
He saw you and went, "Oh no."
The Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman battles, man.
Yeah.
Those were some great battles. Did you ever feel Jay Cutler was a threat at all?
No.
You didn't think you were? Not at all, huh?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
Really? What about 2005? Because I felt like that's when he really started to close the gap on you.
No, not at all.
Oh, I love it.
So you weren't worried at all, were you?
Not even a little bit.
Welcome back to Nothing But a Podcast with me, your host, Giles Thomas, my co-host, AJ, all the way from Norway, and we're joined by
Ronnie Coleman.
Eight-time
Mr. Olympia champion.
Mr. Olympia, yeah! Ronnie, how are you, mate? How's things been for you the last couple of months?
I'm doing pretty good. Hanging in there. Trying to heal up still. But everything's going good for me right now.
Good. You've been more active in the gym lately, haven't you? We've seen on your recent Instagram, there's a lot of training footage, new training footage.
Yeah, I think I've been training now for about 4 months, somewhere in there. So I'm still trying to get back into it from my last surgery back in January or so.
How many days a week are you training at the moment, Ronnie?
I'm trying to get about 5-6 days a week.
How long?
Well, I move slow, so it takes me about 2 hours.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, 2 hours to get a training session in. If I do cardio, it's like maybe 2.5.
What type of cardio do you do?
Normally just a bike.
Do you still get the pumps in the gym? Do you still get that feeling in the gym?
Yeah, still get that pump, still get that feeling.
So they start.
Of course, it ain't nothing like it was when I was in my prime.
That's all, folks.
So the thing is, I mean, you've always been such a genetic wonder. Like when you start back training after you've had with the breaks, with the surgeries, do you find you put the muscle back on quite quickly? Because I've seen pictures of you quite down in size, and then literally a couple of weeks, back training, and you seem to put a lot of size back on.
Yeah, it does come back pretty quick. Yeah. It doesn't take much time, but I'm not even close to the size I used to be. So I'm still trying to figure out, what size I'm supposed to be right now.
What size would you like to be, Ronnie?
Back when I was younger, well, it don't really matter to me because I can still handle any size. It's just with my age, size don't come like it used to. I used to put on a lot of size, real easy when I was younger. But now it takes a little bit of time, and of course, I don't train as heavy or with the same intensity. So it's a lot different now. Back then I was training for competition.
So you're not obviously not lifting the kind of weights, but you're saying the intensity's still high.
Not even close.
Oh, really? Okay. Sorry, I misheard. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
The intensity is not the same. The weights are not the same. The reason for training is not the same. So everything is completely different now.
But you still enjoy training, don't you, Ronnie?
Oh yeah. Like I said, I train for hobby and hobby only.
Yeah.
No competition. No to like be on stage and all that kind of stuff.
So what movements can't you do now?
I can't squat, can't deadlift. That's about it.
That's it, yeah. Okay.
Anything got to do with squatting and putting weight on my back, I can't do.
What about things like shoulder pressing?
Yeah, I can do shoulder press, because I'm not putting weight on my back. So because my spine is completely fused now. Okay. I mean, from my neck all the way down my back. I can't put anything on my back.
Oh, really?
Were you still very lean though in all your training videos? You still got good vascularity.
Come on, Big Ron. Genetics helps out a little bit. I've always been fairly lean my whole entire life.
Yeah.
Because you see him in the hospital bed even. And
the veins are still out.
You see the veins. And,
I think because I used to be so big and had too much weight on me, now that I'm a lot leaner, it kind of gives me a lot leaner look also.
But you've always done cardio as well, haven't you?
Yeah. I've always done cardio also. Back when I was competing, I would always go through an off-season phase and then a pre-contest phase. Now it's kind of like pre-contest all the time.
Yeah.
I eat the same like diet food, like for when I get up in the morning, I have a shake. Then I have chicken and rice. I have steak and potato meal. The only bad meal I eat probably is IHOP.
Oh, IHOP, yeah. Where do you go at night?
When I go there, I normally have like pancakes, egg whites, stuff like that.
That's not too bad.
That's not bad. It could be worse.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to a British restaurant, Nando's, with Ronnie, and he looked at me like I was crazy when I asked him if he'd have dessert, because he said, I wouldn't eat that. There's no protein in it.
How is that guy you used to train with in all your Olympia video? The Gus, I think his name is Gus, isn't it? The guy you used to have in your home gym videos. Is it Gus, his name? Yeah. Is he still training? Is he still on it? Is he still...
Yeah, he's at Metroflex. Also, me and him, we still train at Metroflex, but not at the same time. Okay. He goes a little earlier because he trains people now. He got 2 or 3 people that he trains. So he'll probably go in about 5, and I go in about 7. So normally when I'm getting there, he's leaving.
Okay.
I used to. I probably watch it 2,000 times. You remember the whole blasting 2-pack over the ceiling?
What year was that? What specific year was that?
It was which years did you make those videos? Remember those home videos with you and Gus leading up to the Olympia?
I have no idea.
That's honest. What about your other training partner, Corey Matthews? Because I could never believe that guy was a 212. What happened to Corey? Do you still see him?
No. Corey moved to Las Vegas.
Oh, he moved to Vegas. Oh, that's quite.
Yeah, and he moved to Las Vegas, and he got into ministry full time.
Oh, okay, because religion.
He was just part time here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He was for us full time and doing ministry part time. Now he's in Las Vegas, and he's doing ministry full time, and that's all he does. I don't even think he trains anymore.
Oh, really?
He doesn't train.
He disappeared on Facebook.
He's at church all day, every day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you often go to church? Do you go to church?
Yeah, I go to church every Sunday here. Another thing with Corey, his wife is pregnant
Again.
again. This
Wow.
is kid number 7.
Number 7. Wow.
He's trying to go after your record, huh?
Yeah,
But with kids.
he's right on my tail. I got 8.
Yeah. Something about that number.
I think he's had, since he's been out in Vegas, they had 4 when they were here. So they've had 2 since they've been out there.
Okay.
And she's on number 3 right now.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'll have to catch up with him because Corey's such a nice guy.
While out there in Vegas, and overall, will be 7.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know what? Actually, me and Corey will be tied because he has a son by a girlfriend before he got married.
Okay.
So this is 8th one also.
Will we see another kid from you in the future, Ronnie?
No. My wife had everything taken out.
Okay.
She's had 6.
6.
Wow.
Like kids?
She had 2 with her first husband and 4 with me.
Wow. Fantastic.
So she said she was done with all of that.
So this is the Olympia.
Hang on. It's talking of Las Vegas.
Okay.
Leading on to
Olympia. Olympia's coming up, Ronnie. How does this make you feel?
Ronnie became from this quiet, slow burn guy in the background who nobody ever thought of being a threat to anything. He loved being Mr. Olympia.
So I wanna, like, man, see me come in and say, man, you compete? Like, no. Say, you ever competed? I'm like, no. Like, pretty big, you probably need to compete. You probably world champion one day. As soon as he said that, first thing out of my mouth was, no thank you. I'm telling you, you need to do this. He's like, I tell you what, he said, there's a contest coming up in about 3-4 months. If you compete in this show, I give you a free membership to the gym. And remember, I'm struggling, so anytime somebody offers you something free at a time like that, you're like, okay, what I gotta do?
I started bodybuilding in 1990, and I just steadily progressed since then. It makes me feel that, all my hard work is really paying
So
off.
what are you looking forward most at this Olympia in Las Vegas, Ronnie?
The book.
Because
I'm mostly looking forward to the book, and I'm most looking forward to signing and hanging out with the people at the Olympia. The show doesn't interest me one bit. I have no plans whatsoever to attend.
Why?
You know what? Since I quit competing, I really hadn't been interested in sport like that, where I would like to go and watch.
But hang on, Ronnie. I interviewed you outside the 2017 Olympia. Charles Thomas from MuscularMan.com. We're joined with 8-time Mr. Olympia, Ronnie Coleman, a very good friend of mine.
Yeah, buddy.
Ronnie, it's so good to see you, mate.
Always good to be here at this wonderful event. Probably the best event of my life. Bring back the best memories, best times. I'll never forget it.
What was your favorite year for you in the Olympia?
Man, I'm gonna have to say 1992.
92, the first one in Helsinki.
Yep. My very first time on the Olympia stage. Something I never thought would ever in a million years happen to me. And I remember in '91 when Lee won his 8th one. People came up to me like, man, you should be up there. I'm like, no, I'll never in my life make that stage. I'm nowhere near good enough to be up there. And the next year, I was up there. So I got to say that's probably the most memorable one.
And you seem pretty pumped and pretty excited. You were talking about William Bonac, you were talking about Ramy. I mean, you seem to be very happy and really enjoying, and you certainly will enjoy the show.
Oh, yeah. If I go, I try to enjoy it, but it's just hard to get into it when you're not competing and it's not the same.
Is it because you miss being out there? Is it something emotionally? Why do you think it is?
Yeah, I miss being out there. I miss being with the guys, that I competed against. It's a lot different now, with the guys the way show up and everything, the way they compete. It's just a lot different than when I was out there and we were competing against each other.
In what way, Ronnie? I mean, the sport has changed dramatically since you did your last one, 2007. We have all the addition of new divisions. We have the 212 now. We have the classic. We have the men's physique. Why? Why do you not feel the same way about the guys nowadays?
I think it's every era is different. You know, remember when Arnold had his era, the guys looked a certain way. Then came Lee Haney, with his era, the guys looked a certain way. And then came Dorian in his era, and guys looked a certain way. And then came my era.
The best era.
Like, everybody looked a certain way.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to say my era was the best, but it seemed like the guys were more competitive. There was a lot more competition. There was a lot more interest. The guys were more focused. Guys were more conditioned. Seemed like the guys were a lot hungrier. Everybody wanted to compete in a lot of shows. When I competed, every year I did about at least 3-4 shows.
Yeah.
Even when I was Mr. Olympia, because I always did a tour afterwards. And I would do the Olympia, and then they would have like 3 or 4 shows on European tour, and I would do those every year.
Why, Ronnie? Was it because you wanted prize money or extra titles, or why? Why not just do one show, win the Olympia, and shut it down?
I was just so, in love with the sport, in love with competing, having fun up there on stage. And also, I made a little extra money on the tour, but it ain't nothing compared to what, I got at the Olympia. But at least out there on stage having fun and enjoying myself.
One thing about...
to hang out, with the guys again.
You say, obviously, hanging out with the guys, but I've seen you, and you've... I think you're one of the all-time best bodybuilders to your fans. I've had a personal experience with you as a fan at the 2001 Olympia. I met you at the 2002, and you seem like someone that genuinely loves his fans.
Yeah, exactly. Because they kind of like made me who I am. I never had any interest in the sport. Never had any interest in competing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I just went to a gym one day. The guy like, man, you need to compete. You can probably be Olympia one day. At the time, I didn't even know what that was, And this was after college and all this. I was in my early 20s. I was like 24, something like that, 25, I think. And, I've always just worked out for fun as a hobby. Never competitive. The only competitive thing I did was like powerlifting, when I was in high school. After that, I went to college and played football, got my degree and all that kind of stuff. So I was never really interested in competing because, after college, for the most part, I was trying to find a job to support myself, and that was kind of hard.
Yeah.
I have got my degree in accounting, and I tried for so long to get an accounting job, and it never worked out. So I ended up at the police department, which is the best decision I ever made my whole entire life. Actually, I don't know why I went to the police department. Being at Domino's Pizza one time, I had been working there for about 2 years, and I had it. And one of the guys I was working with was like, man, why don't you try to work for the police department? And I'm thinking to myself, that's the last job I want to do.
It's the last.
Yeah. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, look, maybe it is time for a career change because counseling is just working out for me. So I ended up over there, and then somehow or another, I ended up at Metroplex with this guy telling me that, I could be Mr. Olympia to work my way up, through the ranks of the police department.
Yeah.
I had no intentions on competing. I didn't even think I had, genetics or nothing like that for it because I'd never done it before. So I kind of like got into the sport by accident. And then once I got into it, of course, I loved it and enjoyed it and had fun and enjoyed, so I never took anything for granted for the most part. So I enjoyed my whole entire career. So it was always a joy, and it was always a lot of fun.
Can I ask some bodybuilding questions, Ronnie? Because when I saw you on 2000, I usually watch the press conference over and over again. Which is your favorite? My favorite press conference moment, almost of all time, was when you asked Gunther. You said, "I'm 300 pounds too. What you gonna do?" And you remember that day when you confronted him. Go through that a little bit for us.
Ronnie's feeling that.
Because Gunther was talking a lot of smack leading up.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to remember if that was 2003, because I know that had to be
2004, correct?
That was my heaviest Miss Olympia.
Yeah.
So of course, I'm always confident.
Love it.
Looking for a challenge, and that day was no different. I was always, out there trying to have fun and trying to enjoy myself. So I'm always thinking of a way to, egg on the crowd and have some fun.
And all these guys sitting around here talking about what they're gonna do. Hey, this is a show. Talk is cheap. You want to do something? Hey, we can do something right now.
Hey, it's a hell of an idea right now.
Gunther talking all that noise about him being 300 pounds. Hell, I'm 300 pounds too. What you want to do?
Who wants to see a pose down right here, right now? Who's got the guts? Is that an industrial table?
We can go for it right now, baby.
Hold on a second. If you're gonna do this, you might as well do it up there.
Some fun with the guys too.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm being serious, but at the same time, I'm having a lot of fun too. I never took stuff to heart. I always looked at it like I was having fun, even though I was trying to be serious at the same time. So that was what was really going through my mind. I was trying to think of some way to have fun, some way to egg on the crowd there, and at the same time, be challenging and be competitive at the same time.
Ronnie, did you ever pre-plan what you were going to say at the press conference, or was it just literally get there and see what happens?
get there and see what happens.
Oh, really? So because some of the guys, they rehearse it, they get schooled on it, they'll have everything's pre-planned, but Ronnie just gets there
and he went up on stage and he took his top off and his pants off, and Gunther refused to take his pants off. Remember?
I remember like it was yesterday.
The show was won right there, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much for the most part.
I think my favourite moment was when he wore the pimp suit. You know, the one with the hat. That was the stripy suit. That was where on earth did you get those suits made?
There's a tailoring company here called Lombardo, and suits are very, very, very expensive.
Do you want to give us a figure, or do you want to just?
Each suit I made cost between $3,000 and $5,000.
Wow! So the thing is, you're only going to be like that kind of. I mean, you're going to be heavier in the off season. So do you have like a pre-contest suit and an off-season suit? Because you can only really wear that. I mean, you're not going to wear it pre-contest, so you can only really wear it for that one Olympia. So.
You know what? They always make the suits big enough for pre-contest and off-season because my weight wasn't a whole lot different.
Right.
I weighed off-season about 320, 325, and pre-contest I was always about 280 to almost 300, 280 to 300. So give or take about 35 pounds somewhere in there.
Okay, so what about your waist? Does that, I mean, your waist, like the actual waist width, I mean, surely that would go a little bit up in the off-season?
Yeah, probably, contest time, it was probably around like 32, and off-season 34, 35. So just 32 inches.
32.
Yeah, because I remember when I was I remember when I was an amateur, I measured it was 29.
29?
What?
That was when I first started.
Eating Domino's, remember?
And KFC.
At every meal he was eating Domino's and he traded them for Burger King, wasn't it?
Burger King, not KFC.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, genetics go a long way.
Wow.
Usually people have like you and Jay Cutler as the rivalry, remember, the most. But take Jay Cutler out of it. Who did you think was most dangerous? Sean Ray, Flex Wheeler, or Kevin Lee Roney for you before the Jay Cutler battles?
NASA?
That was
a bit later.
Well, yeah. Of those three men.
I was so focused on trying to get myself ready.
Yeah.
I never really thought about the competition. I'm like, okay, here's the way this is going to work. I can only control how I come in, not how they come in. So if I do everything I'm supposed to do, and maybe just a little bit more than what everybody else is doing, I think I can, outshine everybody else.
Yeah.
So that's what I was always focused on. I was always focused on trying to get better from the last show and trying to be as best as I possibly could, because I knew if I came in, as best as I possibly could and came in the best condition I possibly could, I didn't think anybody could really compete with me. So I was always focused on trying to get better, trying to do better, and trying to be better.
But
every year, I try to train just a little bit harder.
Just a little bit.
But yeah.
So I was always able to gain at least between 5 and 7 pounds every year. It wasn't no major gain, but it was enough to make a difference.
But if you weren't there, which of them three guys would you like the most physique of those three? Sean Ray, Flex Wheeler, or Kevin Lee Roney? Which physique do you like the most?
Everybody's mostly Flex.
Yeah, Flex Wheeler.
I'm mostly Flex, but man, I was always crazy about Kevin's physique, and Sean. I when I was in when I was first starting out, And I would look at his, and I'm like, God, yeah, that little guy is pretty good.
little guy. Yeah. Ronnie, what year was your favourite look? Because you brought in so many, like a lot of fans, which I disagree with, said that your 2001 Arnold Classic was your best combination of size and condition. Personally, I've got a different opinion. What's yours?
I always went back to the '98 Olympia.
The Olympia was what I wanted in 1998 because Dorian Yates had retired. I'd sat behind him for 6 years, and lo and behold, me, Kevin, and Flex see Ronnie Coleman, a guy that we used to not even pay attention to, leapfrog over all of us.
It just made you work harder and harder.
So we come down to Miss Olympia, I'm like, man, if I can make the top 3, this will be better than a dream come true, because I know I never win, because like I said, I just got in the sport just to keep my free membership to the gym. Leading up to the show, everybody already gave it to Flex, so I'm like, okay, at least I got second, so I'm still just as happy as I can ever be.
In second place.
So all of a sudden, Wayne calls out Flex Wheeler name for second. I'm like, can I just hear that right? And I'm like, yeah. And the first thing I did was collapse.
Flex Wheeler.
I remember I didn't really know exactly how good I looked, because I'm gonna tell you, the night before the '98 Olympia, I was carving up like 1,000 milligrams of carbs a day.
1,000 grams.
1,000.
Wow. So how much is that per meal? How much rice and potato was that? If you can remember.
And that was a lot of rice, a lot of potatoes.
How many sacks of potatoes was that?
A lot of apple pie filling.
Yeah. That was a big thing.
I was eating so much food.
Yeah.
I mean, I was stuffing myself. And I remember the night before the show, I had stuffed myself so much that I got sick.
Oh, really?
From eating food. And I'll never forget it. I went and looked in the mirror and I started posing. I'm like, man, I'm totally smooth out. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I done blew this one. I had gotten nice the year before, so my this Olympia was to do better than nice. And I'm like, man, I don't even think I'm on top of my ninth place finish from last year. So I called my nutritionist. I said, hey, I need you to come over here and check me out and give me a little hand. First of all, I'm kind of sick. Second of all, I've totally almost smoothed out. He's like, okay, I'm on my way. So he comes over, he's like, oh, yeah, we need to make some changes. So right away, he gives me some diuretic. I don't even know what it was. I still don't know what it was to this day, because it was a liquid. He would always put this powder in a glass, put some water in there, and say, drink it. I'm like, okay. So that's what he did that night. That was my first time working with him too, also.
And then you woke up in the morning, and then obviously you look completely different.
I woke up in the morning, I'm like, oh man, I look a little bit better.
It's Christmas. Wow.
Because I think I, for the most part, the whole night I was going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Bit of water. And I woke up that morning, I was like, okay, I look a little bit better, but I didn't look past that initial look. And that was real early. Prejudge didn't start to around about, I think, either noon or 1, somewhere in there. So I think I got just a little bit harder as leading up to the show. But I was so afraid that I was gonna, not measure up to, the year before, that I wouldn't look in the mirror anymore after that.
Okay. So you had no idea how you looked?
So I had no idea how I looked until I saw the pictures. And I saw the pictures, and I was a little bit blown away.
So when on that day, when did you think, oh, I'm really going to get better than ninth? I am really in the mix here. Because even in the symmetry round, when they call you out in the quarter turns, you weren't I think you were like fourth or fifth in the quarter turns and the symmetry round, weren't you? And then when you started posing, that's when your physique started to pop.
Yeah. So then the symmetry, I think I was in third call out.
Third call out. That's insane.
Yeah, I remember we talked. Yeah, we talked. So you went from being the at least most freakiest bodybuilder of all time, greatest in my opinion.
I am the greatest the world has ever seen. Greatest the world has ever seen.
Y'all fans, y'all are the greatest in the world. Y'all are the greatest in the world. I don't care about the people that don't like me and that boo for me. I really did not know that I had this many fans.
In the gym, the hardest working guy, and now an author. Are you going to write more books, Ronnie? Is what's the name of your book first for people at home? What's the name of this book that you release at Olympia? What's it called again?
Blood, Sweat, Muscles, my incredible story. I remember when I was in the gym, I was always sweating.
Always bleeding.
I was always bleeding. And I was always trying to get bigger muscle.
Yeah. Tell us more about the book, Ronnie. Tell us how the process, and tell us more about the content, your favorite parts you wrote.
The book is basically started from my childhood.
Oh right.
Until leading all the way up until probably the end of my career. I even talked about, the surgeries and stuff. So it's pretty much right now what I went through my whole life. Basically.
So it's things we haven't heard before.
Yeah, it's going to be stuff never heard before, and it's going to be really in depth. So it talks about, my childhood, and how, I got started lifting weights, how I got into bodybuilding, how I got on with the police department. It talks about my whole life, basically, and for the most part, I've always been a writer, myself, because when I was in college, I think I talked about it in the book too. When I was in college, I worked for the college newspaper, and I started out as a writer, and then I worked my way up to editor. So I've always had this, and how that's kind of like I think how I got on the police department. So you had to write a small story about some title that they give you when you are taking the test, and it's pretty in depth. And I remember to this day that when I got out of the academy and I started working, and I was working one day at a part-time job at a Denny's, and I got in this big fight with this guy because he didn't know who I was. He didn't know I was a police officer. And he didn't see me because I kind of came up from behind him. So I got into this big fight with him. I ended up having to, take him down and put a little hurt on him.
Put a little hurt.
He was bleeding from the mouth, nose. I think they had to take him to the hospital because I kind of, messed up his shoulder and his arm and stuff like that because it was a small fight, wasn't nothing big. But like I said, he did get kind of hurt, you know.
Yeah.
And they had to take him to the hospital. So he filed, you know, these, you know, like police brutality charges or whatever on me.
Police brutality.
But you know, I wrote this real good report because I'm real good at writing. My report was so good that he kind of like dropped everything, and then the chief, I mean the lieutenant there, decided he wanted to use my report to train the guys coming in the academy.
How many words was it?
The report?
Yeah. Was it a short, long?
Oh, it was really in depth. It was well over probably about maybe a couple thousand words.
Short essay. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a short essay. Like I said, I'm a writer, and I know how to write, and I'm real good at it. You know, because I had learned when I was working for the newspaper from this guy who taught me how to write real good. And I took some classes also when I was in college on, you know, how to write and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I
was good at writing.
Yeah. So writing that book, Ronnie, I mean, you're going right through your childhood, very, very personal stories, the highs of, you know, the Olympia wins, the lows. Did you experience a lot of emotion writing that? Was it quite like a therapeutic thing, or what was it like putting all that on paper? But you know, how did that feel writing those kind of like really pouring your life out into a book? Tell us.
You know, with me, you know, I've always looked at life as one big joy. I do some hard, grueling workouts. I'm not in there playing around. When I go in the gym, it's just like I'm at work. It's like I'm doing a job. So I stay real focused while I'm in the gym. And I train extremely hard. As far as my poundages go, for me, the weight progression, pretty much it came in quality and not a big quantity. And that's the most important part of the sport of bodybuilding. Time to break out the big boy. Never really any down moments. Even when my mom died, you know, I was happy that, you know, she didn't have to suffer anymore, and we had a long time together. You know, she wasn't real old, but you know, almost 70 years is a long time. You know, at least I think it is. You know, I could have been all selfish about it and being all upset about it, but you know, I looked at the positives, and I've always been, you know, that way. I've always looked at more positive than negative. Even when I got out of college, graduated with honors, graduated at the top of my class, was one of the smartest guys in every class that I went to. You know, I thought I was going to get a accounting job real easy. You know, I thought maybe like the first or second interview, I'd be picked up right away. Well, it didn't work out that way. But, you know, for me, I made the best of the situation I had. You know, so I ended up working at Domino's delivering pizzas for like a couple of years. Remember, you know, I could have been down, I could have been sad about it, I could have been upset. But for the most part, I enjoyed it.
And that's very unusual.
Pizzas and, you know, making those pizzas and doing that job.
Yeah.
So I've always made the best out of every situation that I've had. So when it came to writing the book, the therapeutic thing about it and the fun thing about it was a chance for me to tell my story and try to be inspirational in a way, because, you know, after graduating from college with honors and being the smartest guy and, you know, thinking life was going to be kind of easy, you know, because, you know, I graduated at the top of my class. I graduated with honors and thought I was going to get out of college and make all this money work. Because I had changed my major from management to accounting because one of my instructors told me I could make more money in accounting than I did in management. So I'm thinking, I'm going to get out and I'm going to get this job, making all this money in accounting, and it didn't work out that way. I could have been, real sad and real down about it and gave up those 2 years that I struggled because times, I talk about it in the book, times got so bad that, not only was I delivering pizzas, I had to deliver newspapers to make ends meet. And and also for the most part, I couldn't even afford to buy food. I talk about it in the book too, that I had to eat Domino's pizza every day. And when I got tired of that, I had to go and, I think I told you about it last time we talked. I talked other people, other restaurants that were close around me, like Burger King and Church's, Popeyes, Kentucky Fried Chicken, because I wanted different food, so I would trade with them.
Yeah.
And that was my meals for that day, because for the most part I worked about 10, 12 hours a day at Dom. I remember one day I worked 21 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
So you think of like a positive mindset as giving you the success, the happiness. So someone who's going through a bit of a bad period in their life and they came to you and they wanted inspiration, they wanted advice, what advice would you give them?
It's going to always get better if you never give up. Because, that's the thing about me. I never gave up, and I always thought it was going to get better if I didn't.
Always.
And that's the way it all worked out for me.
It's so great. A lot of people who's highly educated, when they don't get their job, they just end their life. They just sit at home and cry and give up. But the way, even though you were the smartest, you have to work. No disrespect for people who work at Domino's, but when you're that smart as Ronnie, it's a challenge. It could be a challenge working with pizza when you're that smart.
Put him on a different path. Put him on a different path.
You think you're gonna write any new book? Let the success of this book come. We're gonna hype this book. Everybody buy this book.
Yes.
But do you think you will write more, Ronnie? Is this giving you taste of more?
Yeah.
When it comes to writing.
I think if I get more success and have a better story to tell, because for me, it never ends. I'm always trying to get better and do better. So if I get better and do better and have a better story to tell, I think I'll write more for sure. But like I say, it would have to be later in life, after things have gotten better and I've done better. I got, we're raising 4 kids right now, actually 6.
Do you help them with schoolwork and things like that? Are you active in that role?
Their accounting?
Their schoolwork is kind of simple. I don't really. I try to help, but for the most part, Mom does a lot of that. Of course, if need be, every now and then I'll take a look at some stuff and of course it's real simple,
Ronnie, going back to the book.
Our oldest daughter's in 4th grade, so that's no challenge to do that kind of work right there.
Yeah. Ronnie, just going back to the book, what are your 2 favorite stories? What were the 2 favorite stories that you loved writing and talking about?
But people want to buy the book.
Okay, give me one of your favorite story, because you don't want to spoil it, and spoiler alert for your book. Come on, give us the one that pops into your head first.
Don't give the best one on air.
Give the best one on air.
No, you already know what that's going to be.
One of the best.
Easy.
Okay.
People, anybody that knows my name know what that's going to be.
You want to give us a hint?
Can't keep up with one thing. That's winning the my first
Mr. Olympia, I'm like, man, if I can make the top 3, this will be better than a dream come true, because I know I never win, because like I said, I just got in this sport just to keep my free membership to the gym. Leading up to the show, everybody already gave it to Flex, so I'm like, okay, at least I got a second, so I'm still just as happy as I can ever be.
In second place.
So all of a sudden, Wayne calls out Flex Wheeler name for second. I'm like, did I just hear it right? And I'm like, yeah. And the first thing I did was collapse.
Flex Wheeler.
Did you enjoy writing about that as well? Actually putting that onto, putting those emotions and try to remember it and going through it again.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In a lot of detail.
Watching the tape now, I still get kind of emotional.
Really, still.
Yeah.
So did you have it playing whilst you were writing, just to try and trigger those memories and really immerse? No,
I don't have to.
Yeah.
What?
I still have the memory. I mean, it's like it was yesterday. Yeah. I can still remember just about everything that happened after I watched the tapes, because after they announced me the winner, I didn't remember too much after that.
What was it?
After watching the tape, I can recall it.
So what was it? Was it the crowd response? Was it just hearing your name? Was it just or was it just a combination of everything?
Everything.
What did Joe Weider tell you when you walk off stage for the first time after you won your first title?
So much stuff. I mean, I think, I remember walking to do my photo shoot, and Joe was talking to me about, because I didn't have a Weider contract at the time.
You didn't?
No,
yeah.
I was with Magic at the time. And he was talking to me about, how I was going to win the show, and I thought he pretty much lost his mind. I didn't know how good I looked until I saw pictures. After the prejudging was over with, I really couldn't tell how everything was going to go, because, like I said, I was still, like third call out in the first round. So I'm like, okay, if I could just make the top 5, I'll be the happiest guy in the whole world. And he was saying I was going to win. I'm like, he done lost his mind. I know he old, I just saw it. I saw it as him being, old and maybe a little senile, not knowing exactly what was going on and not knowing what was really happening. So, he followed me to my photo shoot, talking about, how I was gonna win and how how good I looked and how he could get me in the Olympics and all this stuff. And I think I left the photo shoot and went and sat down and was trying to rest and take it easy. And he was still talking to me. I'm like, I guess I made some kind of impression on this old guy. But he's gonna be a little disappointed when he see the outcome of the show, when I don't win and all this kind of stuff. So I kind of just played the whole thing off and didn't keep much stock in what he was saying and all this kind of stuff. He was telling me about how I could get all these endorsements, how he get me all this work overseas.
Sorry, Ronnie, when was this? Was this after the judging or was this before the show? After the pre-judging, you're doing a photo shoot, and that's when Joe Weider said that to you?
Yeah, this was after pre-judging.
Yeah.
Saying you're going to win?
Yeah, he was like, he was convinced. But, me, in my mind, because of how I looked the night before, and I wasn't completely there that morning, at least from where I saw myself, I'm still thinking that, if I could, make it to the top 5 and do better than 9th, I'll be okay. Winning and all that kind of stuff and being in the top 3 was a long way from my thoughts. I never thought in a million years that, I'll be from 9th to like the top 3.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, if I could just do better than 9th, or maybe make the top 5, that would even be, because I think I got 6. I was thinking, okay, if I could even do like 5th place, that would be like a major milestone.
So
because I didn't think, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think I'd ever win.
So what did he say to you then when you won? When you went backstage?
Oh, you know what? I don't even think I saw him. Well, I did see him. I think he was like he was doing his "I told you so" thing.
yeah. So
I think he was doing that, and I was so busy, you know, doing all that, doing all those photo shoots and stuff, and yeah, I really didn't have time to talk because I was so busy doing the photo shoots and stuff, and you know, trying to come to reality.
The whole thing, yeah.
I actually won. I don't know if it ever even hit me that night, you know, because I was still just in a little bit of a shock, you know. But like I said, I never ever, because I had a job at the police department, you know. I was doing pretty good, you know. I had a house and everything. I had cars.
Cars? You had more than one car?
Yeah, I had like 2 or 3.
As a police officer, you had 2 or 3 cars?
Nice cars at that, you know, nice house. I'm still in the same house, you know, that I bought before I even won the Olympia. Oh, wow. So this is like 20, almost 25 years later. Yeah. I'm in the same house because, you know, I'm so in love with this house, and I got so many memories at this house, and I've been here so long, you know.
Yeah.
That I'm still here after all this time. Of course, I could have bought a even bigger house, and you know, and all that kind of stuff, but I'm so attracted and so attached to this one that I've been here after all these years, you know. Of course, I could have bought a even bigger house and you know and all that kind of stuff, but I'm so attracted and so attached to this one that I've been here after all these years, you know. Other guys, you know, like Jay, you know, his house is twice the size of mine.
Jay, that's twice the size.
Yeah. You know, I'm quite sure some other guys, you know, Flex had that big old house, and one time I don't know if he kept it or whatever, but
I don't think he did.
Me, you know, I'm here, and you know, I've been quite content with this house that even after having all those kids and you know, have all them move in here, I'm still here.
So what?
And we'll probably want to stay here for the rest of my life if I could, but you know, wife told me she want a bigger house. And
Ronnie, you go back to your cars. What was your favourite car you ever owned? Because I've seen you own quite a few.
Oh, that's easy. Rolls Royce. I mean, nothing compares to that.
Not the Bentley.
I remember when I had that Bentley, and I'm thinking, man, there's no way they can make a car better than this. And then I bought a Rolls Royce, and I'm like, okay, I see now.
So when did you get that, Ron? When did you get the roller?
Huh?
When did you get the roller?
I've had the Rolls almost 4 years now.
Oh, wow.
So I've had it quite a while.
Wow.
And, you know, I've had it for so long now that I've been so happy and content with it that, you know, I don't even think they can make anything better.
Really? Is that good?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking. I've always thought of what could I get better.
Really?
And I can't even think of anything.
Is that the Ghost?
Yeah. Maybe I can get with that. They got a Phantom or something, I think.
Okay.
Maybe I can get that. Nah.
But surely the Bentley was faster, though, wasn't it?
No, the Rolls is much faster.
But it's bigger.
I remember driving the Rolls when I first got it, and I would punch it. I'm like, wait a minute, this thing is faster than that Bentley, huh? And I wasn't fully convinced.
Okay.
Until I read the data on the Rolls, and I'm like, okay, it is fast. It has more power. It has a bigger engine, and it's not that much heavier than the Bentley.
Throw me some numbers, Ronnie. Throw me some numbers. I want to hear brake horsepower, engine size. Come on. For the petrol heads.
Of course, the Bentley was 550 horse, you know, maybe 490 torque, something like that. The Rolls is almost 600.
Whoa.
It's like 565, which is, you know, still faster. And you can tell both of them are twin turbo cars. Both of them are V12.
Yeah.
So because the Rolls has a little bit more horsepower.
Yeah,
it's faster, and I can tell because I had the Bentley for about 6 years, somewhere in there, and I've almost had the Rolls for the, you know, I'm going on 4 years. So, you know, I wasn't convinced, you know, like I said, until I read the numbers, saw the numbers. I thought it was, and, you know, I can still remember to this day driving it. I'm like, there's no way it's faster. And I saw the numbers, and I'm like, okay, it is.
Yeah.
It ain't just in my head. It really and truly is faster than the Bentley.
Does it scare the kids when you put your foot down?
I don't do that with them.
One thing, Giles, I have to break this car talk up because I'm more interested in getting huge.
Okay.
And I want to congratulate you, Ronnie, because I stole this from the set last time.
Yeah.
The strawberry lemonade one.
I'm going to take some now.
The Yeah Buddy. And to be honest, I use it also because I've switched my training up for the one weight session at night. I do one cardio earlier in the day. But I use that also before cardio. Actually, Yeah Buddy. I don't know why, because...
Sorry, say the name again. What's the name? What's it called, Ronnie? What's it called, Ronnie?
Say it for us.
Yep.
No, we broke up there.
I also use it... Why does it help a little bit before cardio also? Is there some... seriously, you get more energy.
It's the tea cream. It's very good, yeah.
Why does it work a little bit before cardio also? Do you know, or...?
Sorry,
yeah, it's got tea cream. It's got that focus also that they put in, and it's got quite a bit of caffeine in it too.
Well, that's probably why. Do you work on the formula yourself, or do you? Because the taste is really good.
No, I don't. My degree is in accounting, not formulation.
Not at all.
No, we got somebody that got a chemistry background that does all our.
Very good.
You better give him a raise then.
All right, gotta get pumped up for this one.
Whoa!
Little Ronnie Coleman?
Yeah, buddy! Come on, let's get tied up.
Hey, man, your little Ronnie's hanging out.
Man, don't worry about that. We got him. Dang. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, buddy! Sorry, bro, but it's leg day.
Yeah, buddy. Extreme Energy Pre-Workout Powder by Ronnie Coleman. Take a scoop and let your inner Ronnie out.
You have a new supplement also for cardio and fat loss.
We just came out with Lightweight Baby.
What was it called again?
Lightweight Baby.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. What's special about that?
We got buddy. Ain't nothing but a peanut, you know, as far as the protein goes. Lightweight Baby.
What's different with this? What's new? It's a new product. What's this formula about?
It replaces beta stem. It's a weight loss thermogenic tablet, and
cheers, guys.
Basically for that, and also gives you energy, you know, throughout the day. So it's a different formula. It's a little bit better than beta stem. So we're just real happy about it, and real excited about it, and can't wait for people to try it.
Do you know the one thing about RCSS? Because I used to work for Ronnie a few years ago. It's the flavorings.
How was Giles as a worker, Ronnie?
Oh,
was he?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people don't know, but you know, we test our own products on ourselves before we put them out.
You do?
Yeah. That beta stem probably took about 18 months.
It's fantastic.
18 months to
really
formula.
Good. You literally, very good thermogenic.
We put it out, you know. And just about everything, we spend a lot of time testing before we put it out.
18 months.
I can feel that already.
Already, yeah?
Seriously, yeah, I can feel that already.
I don't think you need more energy,
I'm going to become very talkative in a minute.
We don't need more energy, Chris, do we? Oh, yeah.
It tastes amazing. That's the strawberry lemonade. I've had because when Ronnie brought the product out back in 2016, I was one of the first. I think I was Sean from RCSS. He brought over the mini tubs. I think it was the first ones you'd had. They haven't even been put into production yet. Yeah, and I think we all took it one night at the gym, and I think we were training. What time we trained? Like I think we went to a gym in Birmingham, and I think we finished training about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and you carried on going to half past 1. I feel like kicking in now. It was great. Yeah, we're all really training. It was great.
But if you were young today and you want to get really freaky and big, what over-the-counter supplements would you use if you were 20-year-old today? 2 products if you want to, because you're known for size.
Ronnie is a genetic freak. I feel like God built him to be a bodybuilder, man, and to be the best.
Probably the most impressive bodybuilder would be Ronnie Coleman.
3 years, I made sure he got so strong, he outgrew me.
Go there and yell and scream. That's what makes team.
We used to bring people in here to try to match him, and a lot of them didn't even make it through the first workout.
What will you use if you're 20 years old, you want to get big over the counter from your line?
Well, mini Ronnie.
2 supplements. How much would you take and when would you take them?
That would have to be protein and amino acids.
Okay.
So you think the
The
BCAA
BCAAs?
and the King Way?
Yeah.
But how often?
BCAAs and...
How often would you take BCAA if you have unlimited amounts? So how often would you take it, and what time during the day, or compared to your training sessions? Then, of course.
I've always taken it a little before and a little after training. Now we got, of course, we got the one you take during training. So, but I've always taken protein shakes. I remember when I was competing, I would take like 4 a day sometimes.
4 a day.
4 a day.
Yeah, and that's helped me get good condition too.
So if someone was looking to add size, Ronnie, would you recommend, say, 2 additional protein shakes on top of their normal meals a day?
Yeah, that's basically what I did. I had every single day, no matter what. It was always 2 protein shakes.
Yeah.
And like I said, sometimes 4. But for the most part, it was 2 every single, my whole career. Yeah. It was always like protein shake in the morning and 1 at night.
How many grams of serving would you recommend? How much protein would you want them to get?
You know what? You ain't gonna believe this because a lot of people don't. It was kind of hard to do at first. I always took like for every body weight, every 1 pound of body weight.
Yeah.
I would take 2 grams of protein.
You gotta have a lot of protein.
So you're looking like 600 grams of protein
a day.
That's a lot of protein.
And you see, but you saw the results also, though.
So 4 protein shakes, 600 grams of. Would you recommend everyone take? Well, obviously it's 2 grams. I mean, an average 200 pound person, you would recommend for them to take 400 grams of protein.
Yeah, if they're trying to build muscle.
So what? Say 4 meals and 2 protein shakes.
That works. That's excellent for me. You know what I mean? It's the best formula my nutritionist ever came up with.
Can we play one game? If I give you 2 guys and you give me the answer, who's most freaky? Marcus Rule or Big Ramy?
Man, that's a tough one. Marcus Rule, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Who's most classic? Bob Paris or Lila Brada?
Oh, Lila Brada.
Okay.
That's the easy one. Come on now.
That was the easy one.
Ronnie, most underrated pro bodybuilder ever. Most underrated pro bodybuilder.
I think I might go with Aaron Baker.
I knew you'd say that. Yes, that's a good one. That's a good answer. I like that. Why do you think he was so underrated?
I don't know, but I used to always think. I remember my first time seeing him.
Yeah.
And I was an amateur. I had just started bodybuilding, and he guest posed at this show that I qualified for the nationals at.
Mm-hmm.
It was 1990. Like I said, I'll never forget it because it was the freakiest, craziest thing I ever seen in my life. Wow. He guest posed at the show, and he came out in this Batman outfit.
Yeah.
Thinking this is the greatest bodybuilder I've ever seen. Wow. And I'm like, this guy for sure is going to be one of the greatest ever because I saw his physique and I saw where he posed. It totally freaked me out. I mean, I was completely.
Why?
Aaron Baker, right?
Yeah. Why? Aaron Baker, yeah. And I used to always see him compete in shows. I'm like, man, why is he not placing high? What's going on?
Some politics going on.
What am I seeing that the judges are not seeing?
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
I always thought he should always have placed high in every show he competed in. Yeah. Always thought that. Even today, I think it's going to be the biggest mystery to me ever. I don't know if going to that other organization had anything. I think that had a lot to do with it.
There you
go. It had to be that because it couldn't have been nothing else. Because most of those guys, I think that organization got started around like 92, 93, or somewhere around. Yeah.
It was 91, 92.
That's when I turned pro and everything. And I remember when they came back. And none of them did good, no matter how good they looked. I'm thinking, man, they really punishing these guys for going to that other organization. This political thing here is really in full effect.
Ronnie, in going on the first time you ever saw them, who was the most impressive bodybuilder you saw the first time you saw them?
Aaron Baker.
Okay. The first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, like I said, I was completely blown away. When I saw him, I said, I'll never make the pros.
Wow.
He was awesome, wasn't he?
Oh, it was amazing. I bought him a drink at the Olympia years ago.
I don't have a chance to make the pros if I got to look like that, because there's no way I'll ever look anything like that,
Most overrated bodybuilder?
Most overrated bodybuilder. Who had the most hype?
You don't have to answer this one.
You don't have to answer it if you don't like it. Who was the most overrated bodybuilder in your opinion that you couldn't believe why there was so much fuss about it?
I hate to say it, but I'm gonna be honest about it. But I thought he was one of the nicest guys ever, and had somebody who I would root for to be one of the most successful guys in anything that he did. I always thought the most overrated guy was Porter Cottrell.
Oh, Porter Cottrell.
Yeah.
He won lots of pro shows in the early 90s.
Won just about every show he entered.
Yeah.
I remember him beating Kevin in the Night of Champions one year, and I'm like, whoa. I think he beat him.
Yeah.
I'm almost sure he beat him. That was it was early 90s. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, they won one each.
Positive he beat Kevin in the Night of Champions. I'm looking at Kevin and I'm looking at Porter. I'm like, whoa. I guess they seeing different.
Ronnie.
But he was the nicest guy, and he was a firefighter also. So, I've always had a lot of respect, and I've always looked up to him, and I've always thought he was one of the greatest guys. Great bodybuilder too, but I didn't think he would. Personally, I didn't think he was better than Kevin.
Ronnie,
good, but not that good.
Not that good.
Yeah. Ronnie, I think one of the because I started following the sport in 1990, and I used to love reading the magazine reports, from the Grand Prix reports. You know, you used to do the, because you were one. I've seen you. I think the first time I ever met you was at the 1996 British Grand Prix, and I remember you just walked past me and you were eating an apple, and I remember I couldn't believe how big your arms were, and that wasn't before you even got to your biggest. So, what was your funniest or your craziest Grand Prix, your most memorable Grand Prix story? What was your funniest or your craziest Grand Prix, your most memorable Grand Prix story?
1997.
No messing.
We had to do 7 shows in 11 days.
Wow.
How many?
7 shows in 11
7
days.
shows in 11 days.
Today, these people wouldn't last that long, that's for sure.
Exactly. The last 2 days, I didn't sleep a wink.
Wow.
My body was so messed up. It was so exhausted, I couldn't even sleep. You wouldn't think that the body would be too tired to sleep.
Yeah.
Mine was for 3 whole days. I was so messed up behind that tour. Cause we would do a show. I'll never forget it. We'll do a show. You know, the show was all in one day. You know, they had pre-judging in the morning and the night show at night.
Yeah.
So after the night show, we would. I mean, all day we were doing the show. You got to remember that. So
yeah.
you didn't have time to do anything all day. Yeah. And at night, after the show, we would literally go back to the hotel, grab a bite to eat, sleep for like 1, maybe 2 hours, and get up and get on the plane and head to the next show. The show was like all day. Mm-hmm. And you would get up in the morning, you know, eat your breakfast, and after that you had to head over to the show. And you do the morning show. After the morning show, because the night show was so close, you had to stay there. So you couldn't leave the show, so you had to stay there for the night show. So after the night show, we would literally go back to the hotel, grab a bite to eat, sleep for maybe 1 or 2 hours. I'll never forget it because I'm like, 2 hours sleep? This is going to be hard. I got to get up and get on a plane and fly to another city. And we did that for 4 or 5 days in a row. You can imagine how hard that is, you know. And then my body, like I said, but the last 3 days, the last couple shows, I didn't sleep a wink. I would lay down in bed and just lay there for hours at a time. The last 3 days, you know, that's when we got a chance to rest because it was coming up on the last show. Yeah. It was 7 shows in 11 days. So those 4 days there was the show, you know, that was on the end of the tour. That's when we got a chance to rest.
So what was your...
So exhausted, I couldn't even fall asleep. Crazy. I remember the last show, I even talk about it in the book, where I'm getting 3rd, 4th, 5th in every show. I'm like, man, I can't even get direct for nothing to work. I can't get hard for nothing. So I go to Kevin. He was winning every show. And it was the last show. I don't know if I talked about this last time we did this, but I'm like, Kevin, what are you doing? He's like, man, you want to know what I'm doing? I'm like, yeah. He didn't even tell me. He just grabbed a cup of coffee. He just grabbed a cup, went to his refrigerator, grabbed some those small bottles, and poured it in the cup. I'm looking at him real strange and real weird. I'm like, what the hell are he doing? Because he didn't tell me what he was doing. I just asked him what he was doing. Then he goes over to the coffee maker and pours some coffee in there. And he said, you know what I'm doing? This is what I'm doing. Coffee and vodka. He said, if you want to get hard, you got to drink this. I'm like, I hated vodka and coffee.
I did like coffee.
Ronnie, I was willing to try anything.
Yeah.
Because I was desperate, you know. I was getting, like I said, I was getting third. I was getting like, I don't even think I got third. I was getting like 4th, 5th, and 6th in every show. And I'm like, man, this is, you know, that Olympia, you know, in 97, I got 9th, you know, so I'm like, I can barely do better than I did in the Olympia. So I'm willing to do anything, you know, make some changes here and do better. So whatever Kevin was doing, you know, that was what I was willing to do. Because I remember when I was in college, I always went, if I wasn't the smartest guy in the class, I would always study with the smartest, you know. So I'm trying different tactics here. I'm trying stuff that worked in the past also.
So when you traveled with the guys, who were you closest with out of all the top pros? Because you traveled with all the, you know, the biggest names of the 90s. Who are you closest with?
I was always real close to Flex because he would always, you know, help me out and give me a lot of advice. He kind of be like a mentor to me.
Yeah.
And then at the end there, Kevin, you know, was trying to be a mentor and give me a little bit of advice also. I was real close to those guys that were basically racing ahead of me.
Yeah.
A lot of people today, before we go to the gym, if you want, some of us like to look at videos, bodybuilding videos. Before we go.
Always ask me all the time, every year after year, how do you stay motivated to do this? This is a hobby for me. This is something that I truly love to do. I was put here on earth to do, and that's how I stay motivated, because I love doing this. I never in a million years even dreamed of being Mr. Olympia. I tell people every day, this is something that God chose for me to do. Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Obviously, your videos is usually what people around the world look at.
Unbelievable.
But before you went to the gym, did you have some type of, because your numbers in the gym were amazing. Did you ever, what was your routine before the gym? What did you eat before the gym? How long? Was there something your mind said? Did you get in that warrior zone? So before the gym, what did you do?
Oh, well, it was real easy, real simple. I get up, eat breakfast. Yeah, real simple. Get up, eat breakfast. Let my food digest for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Run to the gym, work out, come home, and spend about an hour getting ready for work.
Okay.
Every day.
Every day. So
Yeah.
There was no special, I'm going to the gym mode. You just had your breakfast. There was nothing in your mind. You were ready all the time. You didn't need no motivation.
No.
Any particular music?
No, back then, not really. No. I wasn't into music like that. I was more into training hard and trying to get better for the most part. But even back then, training was kind of like a hobby for me still. I always look forward to it. I look forward to two things back then: training and working, going to work. Working for the police department was probably the best job I ever had in my life.
Believe me, it does get very, very difficult, and it is not easy at all doing both. But like I said, if you're mentally strong, which I believe I am, because I wouldn't be able to do both if I wasn't, you could do both.
Now it's time to go to work. Everyday thing.
Most of the time I would, pull up to the scene, you be arguing and fighting, and I pull up there and they stop and they look at me, man, you a big guy. And there goes the argument, stopped automatically. I was working full time and I'm trying to eat and they're calling me to do accidents and and all this kind of disturbance. I'm like, man, what's wrong with these crazy people? I'm trying to eat.
After 2005, he broke the control bar. I had to buy. This is what you have to do. Status.
Probably even better than training.
Wow, you loved it that much, being in the police
I
department.
love it that much. I look forward to going to work, and I had fun at work every single day. If I wasn't having fun, I was going to make myself have fun.
Was Lou Ferrigno a real police officer, Ronnie?
Huh?
Was Lou Ferrigno a real sheriff?
Yeah.
He was?
I think I don't think he was full time like me.
No.
It was a job and I got a salary and I got paid. I think he was more of like because I did it after I retired from the police department. I think he's more like a reserve officer.
Yeah, because I remember reading about it. Yeah.
Work a certain number of hours, they don't pay you, but you still get a chance to go and hang out and be a police officer. It's just like a part-time thing.
Ronnie?
Here you have to work, I think it's 40 hours a month.
A month, okay.
A month.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like maybe twice a week or once a week, something like that, You
love that video of Ronnie changing police officer.
Yeah, with the vest on.
With the vest on and
bulletproof vest.
Do you look at that sometimes and like, or you never look at your past on videos on film?
I never look at my past. I haven't even seen.
We want you to.
Never. Come on, Ronnie.
I haven't watched the documentary yet either.
What? You've never watched it?
No. It's hard for me to watch myself on video.
Why, Ronnie? Why?
Well, because I'm always assessing myself, saying I need to do better and be better.
Really? What, in that document? You're just being yourself, though.
Yeah. Well, I'm always saying I could have did that better. I could have been better there.
Really?
I don't like the way I look there or something.
Is that your is that your mentality generally in life? Do you think that's why you've been so successful? Because you're constantly trying to push yourself all the time. And
yeah, all the time.
Were your parents really strict with you, or like a strict childhood, or?
Very, very strict.
In what way?
So back then they had discipline, where if you didn't do what you're supposed to do, you got beat.
Yeah.
You got beat real bad. I remember.
Kind of like bodybuilding then.
I would, go to school and the teachers even beat you.
The teachers beat you also.
Yeah, they all had paddles.
Okay.
And sometimes, you go to school and get a paddle and the principal would phone home and tell your mom what you did at school, and then she would beat you some more. So there was always some kind of punishment. There was always some kind of discipline going on there my whole childhood until I finally got it. Okay, if I do what I'm supposed to do and what is expected of me, I won't get no whoopings. I won't get no beatings. And so when I learned that, I never got another one.
So, you don't
self-discipline. Do you think self-discipline do you still apply it to your life?
Oh, I mean, of course, it's part of learning. It's part of growing up. Yeah.
But even still now in your life, do you still feel disciplined?
Huh?
Do you still feel disciplined in your life?
Oh, yeah. Very much so, yeah. I still do the same thing each and every single day that I did back when I was competing for the Olympia.
Tortoise, so we can see the weights, maybe?
Get the delts in.
Yeah.
Maybe,
yeah.
Oh, wow. What a gym.
Yeah, I'm in the gym. I'm in my gym.
Oh, wow. The famous gym.
Yeah, it was hot in here at first, and I was trying to turn the air on.
You're in your home gym now, Ronnie, aren't you?
Yeah.
What's the most incredible thing you have done in your home gym?
That's good.
Not Metroflex, but in your home gym.
I haven't done anything incredible here.
No, I don't believe you.
Everything was incredible.
What's the most... You can't remember something really special you did in your home gym?
Nope.
What about Metroflex then?
Everything I did at Metroflex was special.
Ronnie, what was your most, I'll expand on that. What was your most memorable workout ever? What was the one that you went, whoa, I really nailed it today?
Oh, come on now.
Come on, Ronnie. Come on. Give us some. Come
on. When I did the 2,300-pound leg press.
2,300 pounds. How many, hang on a minute. Do you know how many plates? How many plates was that?
50.
50 plates. So that's 25 plates a side.
How many reps?
Yeah. I did 8.
8 plates. So that's 25 plates a side.
How many reps?
Yeah. I did 8.
8.
On rep 5, what were you thinking?
I'm like, this is pretty light.
Nah.
I don't know what to say to that really now. I don't know what to
Has
say.
anybody tried those numbers at all after that?
No. Because that was right after I did the 800-pound squat. I never forget me doing the 800-pound squat either. Actually, that day was the best day ever in the gym.
Wow.
So I started out with 800 pounds on the squat, and I'm thinking, because I had deadlifted 800 pounds before. I'm like, man, it was heavy as I don't know what when I deadlifted it.
Make sure everybody know this is 800 pounds. 5.5 weeks out from the Mr. Olympia. I want to see somebody else try this besides me. What it takes to be number one, baby.
Squatting is probably going to be a little bit more difficult, but I had it backwards.
What?
Deadlifting it was hard. Squatting was easy.
Squatting was easy.
Because I remember when I did this, like I said, I already pulled 800 on the deadlift, and I'm thinking, man, for me to squat that, this is going to be, and this was a couple of years later also, so I didn't know if I had got stronger or what. I think I probably got a little bit stronger, too. And, I remember, I can remember when I squatted the first rep. Oh man, this is gonna be so heavy because I remember deadlifting. It was like so heavy. If you see me deadlifting 800, you'll see how heavy it was when I pulled the first and the second rep. I struggled on both of them. So I'm thinking it's probably gonna be even heavier because back then I was younger. Now I'm older. I'm like, this is gonna be so hard. And that first rep, I was like, this is not 800 pounds. This feels like about 600 pounds, So because it was 800, I like, okay, I deadlift. I had in my mind 2 reps.
Yeah.
I already deadlifted for 2 reps. So I had in my mind, I'm gonna get 2 reps, and that's gonna be it. I didn't think any further than 2 until I put it down.
Okay.
Once I put it down, I'm like, man, I could have got at least 3-4 more reps.
What?
But because I conditioned my mind to do 2, that's all I thought about was just doing 2. And because it was 800 pounds, I'm thinking it's gonna be so heavy. If I was just conditioning myself to say it's gonna be so light for real, I could have got 5. I could have got at least 6 reps. For sure. For sure, I could have got 6. I know my body, and I know my strength.
Yeah.
And after, I'm in my 40s when I did this.
Yeah. What
so
age?
by now, I know how strong I am. In my 30s, I didn't know. By the time I got to my 40s, I knew. But I knew I could have got 6 because I know my strength by now. But because I had conditioned myself for 2, and I wasn't going no more than that, That's all I got. So I got 2, and I put it up, and I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. If you see me, you hear me say, "Man, that was light," when I put it up. And I think because of that, when I went over to that leg press, I was trying to make up for what I didn't do on the squat. So I loaded that thing up and put as many places as I could. I couldn't put no more weight on there.
No more.
50 on there. I couldn't put no more on there.
How old?
That I put weight on there, and that thing had broke before. So that was a new machine, actually.
Okay. I hope
I hope the thing don't break, and while I'm trying to do this, because it already did it before. But I'm gonna make up for what I didn't do on that squat. Because I want to do.
Ronnie?
I knew I could have did more reps on that squat, so I was like, okay, I ain't gonna do that on this leg press. I'm gonna get as many as I can. I don't have a number in mind. Only reason why I stopped, on the leg press, because a buddy of mine said, one more, at least one more. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll do one more. But I probably could have went to 10 on that. But because it was so much weight, I'm so scared, and I'm getting ready for the Olympia and all that. So I got a lot of this in the back of my head. I'm not really trying to push myself to the limit. I'm just trying to do enough to make this look good.
When would you start to sort of back off on the poundages?
Push myself to the limit and try to get as many as I could. I probably could have got 10 on the leg press and at least 6 on the squat. At least 6. It was that light. Okay, let me explain to you how light the 800-pound squat was.
Yeah.
To this day, I'm still disappointed.
Really?
I'm still regretting that I didn't do more reps. Because it was so light, But because I did 2, people are gonna think, oh, that was heavy for him. But if I did 6, like I knew I had, it was like, man, that was even 6 reps. But it's 800 pounds. You gotta remember.
Yeah.
So in your mind, you're like, man, this is heavy. Even though it was light.
Ronnie, when would you start to back off on poundages before a show? Because obviously you're most powerful 6 weeks out from Olympia. You must feel like superhuman. When did you think, right, I need to back off on the poundages here?
The last week.
The last week?
The last week, yeah.
When were you strongest? Do you remember what age were you absolutely strongest?
I want to say like 41, 42.
Okay. So you believe you can make strength progress all the way up to your 40s, huh?
Yeah, for sure, easily. I think if I wouldn't have herniated my disc, I probably would have been just a little bit stronger. Because I did all this with a herniated disc. You got to remember that.
Yeah.
Ronnie, powerlifters, to get stronger, they, as you know, they train more frequently than, say, a bodybuilder was. But as a bodybuilder, you would train like legs twice a week. Do you think that's a secret to strength? Training more frequently than, say, once a week like a bodybuilder?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that's what you applied?
That's pretty much the way it worked for me.
Yeah. 2 leg sessions a week like that.
But, everybody's body is different, so it's kind of hard to say. Everybody, is different, genetically also, Everybody can't squat 800 pounds.
But the thing is, if you're training like that, can you really do a leg session like that twice a week? Did you do the leg session like that and then do a completely different leg session 5 days later?
Yeah, for sure. I did it, yeah. I trained heavy every workout. Like, I did legs twice a week. I was front squat 5 plates for 10 easy.
While working as a police officer,
That's crazy.
not just sitting at home playing PlayStation.
How can you do that twice a week? How can you do something like that? How is that humanly possible?
With full-time job as a police officer?
Wow. That's it's the frequency that gets me.
You gotta remember, I love working for the police department almost as much as I love working out.
Wow.
So I look forward to going to work. There's 2 things I look forward to doing every day: working out and going to work.
So you were very, very, very happy times, really, weren't they?
Yeah. But people used to wonder how I could work, 8, 10-hour shifts, after working out, because I look forward to it. I wanted to go to work every day. It's something I wanted to do. It was something I enjoyed doing. I had a lot of fun doing it.
Was the training your favorite aspect of getting ready for a competition?
I hated it.
What, competing?
I hated getting ready because I hate the diet. But after a while, you know, when I first started, I kind of hated it a little bit because before bodybuilding, I ate pizza, hamburgers, you know, fried chicken. I ate the worst food ever. And then after a while, you kind of get used to that. And then all of a sudden, you got a diet, and you're like, oh, man, I got a diet. But it took a while for me to get used to dieting, you know, and after a while, it was okay. But, I mean, it was hard, though. It was so hard. It was the hardest thing ever. I mean, just try eating the same thing each day, day in and day out, and not being able to go and do it. I couldn't hang out with friends. I couldn't go to parties. I couldn't go to clubs. I couldn't have no fun whatsoever. And because I was so carb depleted all the time, you know, I was drained. I didn't have a lot of energy. So it was the most difficult thing ever, but you know, results speak for themselves.
Hard on Mr. Olympia. Nothing easy about those, but you know, had a lot of fun getting them though.
What was your favorite part about competing, Ronnie?
Being on stage.
Being on stage. What did you like about it?
I mean, I would get so hyped. I would get and release so much adrenaline that sometimes I couldn't even feel my body.
Really?
I remember one time I got off stage after I posed. I was so hyped and so full of energy and had so much adrenaline going that my body kind of like had disappeared on me. Really? I couldn't feel nothing. I was so hyped. I had to sit. I had to call a paramedic. Because you know, it scared you. It kind of scares you, you know.
What?
Because if you never felt something before, and you don't not feeling, you know, normal.
Yeah.
It kind of scares you.
So, how do you feel? What do you think? Something was happening, or?
I thought I didn't know what was happening. I thought maybe I was going into shock or something. You know, he's like, no, you need to sit down and take it easy. You got too much adrenaline flowing.
You were that pumped.
I'm like, oh, okay. So once I sat down and calmed down, I felt like normal.
So, taking aside your Olympia wins, what was one of your favorite moments on stage? Because you were third call out in that first Olympia, so.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of hard to say what that was.
Just the win.
You know, you when I'm up on stage, I'm so focused.
Your favorite routine, Ronnie, doesn't have to be your best. What was your favorite? Because me and a lot of bodybuilding fans, we love the posing routines. Well, it doesn't have to be one of your best physique packages, but what was your best routine in your mind? Which routine did you like the most? Walking out with the... Remember you walked out with the robe? It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I don't know how you knew, but that's what I was going to say.
Was it?
Oh, wow.
Oh, because remember he walked out? It was like the king... What, do you wish you could use more props on stage, by the way?
Yeah. I love that prop thing because it was something different. You know, to be honest with you, I never really choreograph my own routines either. I always use somebody to do that.
Okay.
And Foster is this girl that did that routine. She used to compete back in that time, in that era. She did that whole routine. I mean, from picking the song, putting the routine together, everything. As far as the cake and the crown, that's something I just did on my own.
Have you still got those props?
No.
Oh,
what?
No, I'm gonna tell you why. I did everything in my power to try to buy that cake, and they wouldn't sell it to me.
Why?
Why?
Oh, they said we need it for. I got it from a costume shop.
Okay.
They're like, we need it for to rent it out to people. I'm like, but I give you whatever you want. They're like, no, we don't want to sell it. I'm like, oh man. I mean, I tried everything. I extended, the contract on renting it and everything. They still wouldn't sell it to me. I'll do anything to have to keep this thing, because this was by far one of the most memorable things I've had in my life. And it was all spur of the moment, I just made up as I got on stage, I didn't practice or nothing with that role. I went to the costume shop, I rented it, I tried it on and it fit. And I'm like, okay, I'm good to go.
You felt like you
walked out with it.
You felt like you're real king that day, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
King Coleman.
Yeah. Once I saw the photos and everything, I was like, oh man, that thing looks. I didn't have any idea how it looked on me or nothing until I saw pictures of it. Yeah. So when I first tried it on, all I was concerned about was it fitting. Would I be able to, raise my arm up and stuff like I did when I was on stage? That's all I was concerned about. I didn't take pictures of nothing of me in it. And as soon as I saw the photos of it, I'm like, oh man, that thing I really like this. I tried everything in my power to buy it from them, and they wouldn't sell it.
What about the crown? What about the crown?
The crown, you know what? Some guy made that.
Okay.
And I still got it.
Oh, still got it? You have it?
The only thing I was able to keep.
Wow.
But the rest of it, I rented from the costume shop. I think, the thing that I was holding, the scepter I was holding, I rented all that. They wouldn't sell it to me for nothing.
Can we see before we end it? Can we see some of the sandals, Ronnie, on camera?
Are they handy? Or?
Do you have them, or are they far away? Or
yeah, they're very far away.
And share and like and comment. But now as you like.